What's going on, everybody? Today's podcast is sponsored in part by my dog Cloud. He's right here. He's been bugging me all morning. If you hear any jingling in the background, that's his tag, so don't mind that. Or if he barks or anything like that. He has a tendency to crash into shit really loudly, so if you hear that, that's also him being destructive. So that's what today's podcast is brought to you by. His really bad behavior. I'm James, as you guys know. How's everyone doing today? Everyone good? Anyone bad? Is anyone just fucking más o menos? Just fucking more or less? Um, just bear with me. I just woke up not too long ago, and I was actually going to record this yesterday, but I kind of went on a hike with the dog. I had to get out of the house. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I can't stay stuck in here forever, no matter how many projects I have to do. Whether it be just doing things around here, or working on this, or working on whatever other hobby I picked up during this fucked up quarantine. So, yeah, just bear with me. I'm still trying to get out of the excuse me, the dumps of just waking up. So, uh, I would like to start today's podcast by just going over a few details about, what's going on, and kind of give like a couple shout outs. I want to give a couple shout outs to a few of my friends on both Instagram and real life. Obviously, the people I know on Instagram, I do know in real life, but I don't always interact with them, all the time. We have different schedules, we have different lives. Sometimes we just don't cross paths. So, if any of you guys reached out, I'm very, very grateful for that. You don't know to the extent. I can't even put the extent into words that would make sense, honestly, because it's an overwhelming feeling, and I didn't expect for the outreach to be as high as it was and as genuine as it was. And some of these people I've known since high school. You know what I mean? Like that, we just chit chat every now and then, just kind of talk about how things are going. Playing catch up with each other's lives. So thank you. And then there are friends that I've made within the last 2 or 3 years that reached out, and that was phenomenal. You guys are just amazing. Trust me. And then there is my main group of friends who, without you guys, honestly, I don't know how I would be able to get through these things without you guys. Just like, our group chat is the most hilarious fucking group chat I've ever been a part of. Honestly, my friends, they're just, what can I say? There's no amount of good that I can say about them that would equate to actually how good they are, both to everybody else and to me, as a person. So I want to say thank you to all of them. I'm not gonna go out and name names, because there's I want to have some anonymous, tone to this, unless they want to be mentioned. But you guys, I love all of you. Seriously, I do. I'd like to thank my mom, because throughout all this process, even when I didn't know what I was going to do, and I had outbursts of anger and sadness, and dealing with any thoughts of suicide that I had, and you know the bad days, my mom was always there, and she kind of took a lot of that on the chin for me. And this is kind of my way of saying I'm sorry. I've apologized countless times, but it is my way of saying I'm sorry, and trying to get better and show her that I'm not just gonna be doing this the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Disappointing her. You know. And last but not least, to my dad, who I mean, in the beginning, me and my dad didn't have the greatest relationship, but now that I look back on it, my dad did everything in his power to protect me growing up. Not to protect me from like the I mean, there's things that are just inevitable that your child is going to go through that they need to learn life lessons from. He didn't try to protect me from those things. He tried to protect me from the actual bad shit that happens to kids. And he did a pretty fucking good job of it, all things considered. He really did. As broken up as my family was, and, you know, my parents on and off separated, finally got divorced. I mean, they can't even be in the same room as each other. But they both did a very, very good job, and I don't give them enough credit for that. And I'm just eternally grateful for them. Like I said, especially my dad too. Like I already said everything about my mom, but my dad did a whole lot. He really did, and I just didn't realize it until I was an adult. Excuse me. I didn't realize it until I was an adult that that man loves me. There is no doubt in my mind that he does, even if there was before. You know, so I just can't thank them enough. So that out of the way. I know it's a little mushy, but I had to get it done. They Everyone that I talked about deserves that praise. Honestly, they really do, and it's long overdue. So, you know, I love you guys. So, moving on, today's topic, we are going to discuss outreach. You know, as the tone of what I started with right here, giving the shout outs to the people who reached out and asked if I was okay and said that they were there for me and if I needed anything. You know, that's the topic I do want to cover today because it is fresh in my mind and it resonates with me so powerfully because personally myself, I do a lot of outreach to my friends to make sure that they're okay and they're taken care of. You know, either in their professional lives, because I've worked with a lot of my friends too, you know, in the same workplace. You know, that's how I got close to a few of my friends, was at work. So, getting into that, I do a lot of outreach with my friends to, like I said, to make sure that they're okay, they're taken care of, and that if they need to talk to somebody, they need to get anything off their chest, that I'm there for them. I do that a lot. I do that with my significant others. I mean, I do my best. I really do. I can't say that I don't give 110% when it comes to trying to understand the person that I'm dating or with. And, you know, it's a habit in me that I want to do. You know, it's ingrained in me, you know. Think of it as like a brand. Like I got branded with that at birth. And it's never going to stop. You know, you never stop caring about people's well-being if you care from the start. It's just how it is. So outreach is as important as it is, at least in my head and in the general community of mental health, because it shows, I don't want to say, it doesn't show initiative, it shows like it shows empathy. It shows the ability to understand how people are dealing with things, good or bad, to be a talking point, to be a point of comfort and acceptance. You know, solidarity is a good term with that. To stand solid with somebody and be like, you know what, I got your back through this. Through thick and thin, you know, we're a team. I've got you. And it's not, I got you if you got me. That's not how I do it. I've got you regardless if you've got me, if I care about you. I would hope that you return the favor when it's needed, you know. but it's not necessary. And I'll never give anybody shit for that. Unless, of course, you know something's wrong and you can see it and you don't say anything about it. That's where things get muddy. You know? It's like, it's the same, it's almost the same concept as witnessing a murder and not reporting it. You know somebody got hurt. You know someone's in pain or they're dying or they're dead. And you didn't say anything about it. Like, you know, it I know they say ignorance is bliss and you can kind of write things off. I mean, if you didn't, did it really happen if you didn't say anything about it? Of course it fucking happened. Come on. Of course it happened. It's just, you gotta be willing to reach out. You gotta be willing to sit there and give some of your time and really listen to the people that you care about, because it makes the difference. It does. 100% it does. It's a difference between somebody going through the day thinking that they don't have anyone to rely on versus that person at the end of the day is, you know what? I'm loved. I have people that care about me. You know, there's reason to this. Because not everyone feels this way. I can't speak for everybody, but there are times when, as someone who's depressed and has anxiety and your mind just, you know, it's eating you alive at every single minute. This, like, let's be clear. Your mind is a very powerful tool. And your mind is meant to keep you alive. Like, that's its main goal. It's to ensure your survival for as long as possible. And you can't do that when that very thing is telling you to fucking, there's no will to live. You know what I mean? Or what's the point? Or you're just living, you know, day to day. You're just trying to get through things. Your brain's not supposed to do that. It goes against the laws of nature, honestly. The way we're built, the way we're meant to think and feel, like, we're not supposed to, our brains are not supposed to attack us. But that's the unfortunate side effect that we just, you know, sometimes it just happens. You know, we can't control who gets it, honestly. There's no way of mapping that out and being like, oh, we cured depression, you know, no one's ever going to get that again. There should be no reason your mind is going to, you know, tell you to not survive anymore or to not want to survive. You know what I mean? That's never going to happen. And if it does, it'll be a fucking miracle. Because that's a vaccine we need right there. We need a fucking vaccine for depression and anxiety and PTSD and everything. Borderline personality disorder, you know, multiple personality. We need, you know, schizophrenia. We need a fucking vaccine for all of those things, because those kill more people than fucking, in the long run, it'll kill more people than fucking cancer or diabetes or anything like that. Your mental health is, you know, it's key one. So, I'm back on topic. Your mind is not supposed to attack you like that. It's not. But sometimes it does, and it's important that throughout the day, it's not always going to be possible, but throughout the day, you should have a few talking points that you can be able to go to people and be able to express yourself fully and openly as possible. And, I mean, they don't always have to be like, oh, I know what you're going through, I do. Because most people aren't going to know what you're going through. There's very few people that understand the struggle well enough to give you the right advice. But everybody, and I mean this, I mean everybody, can listen. It's just a matter if you want to or not. That's the only thing. No, you can't make someone do something they don't want to do. They're not going to do it if they just don't fucking feel like it. And it's not your job to convince them of it. They either want to or not. And they're going to be there for you or not. That's why you should find the people that are willing to be there for you. And in turn, you should be there for them. You know, this life is not busy enough. We don't have enough fucking going on. Even when things are hustle and bustle, I don't care if you run a fucking multi-million-dollar empire. You think before this, we're gonna use Trump as an example. This is gonna be funny because I know some people listening to this are gonna be like, "Oh, fuck him." I don't fucking like him either. But do you think, as a father running a multi-billion-dollar empire, do you not think he still sat down with his kids and listened to them? I'm sure he fucking did because they love him and he loves them. He's a human with emotions. You know what I mean? Of course he sat down and listened to them. He wasn't too busy to do that. And he's busier than fucking 99% of us, guaranteed. Of course he listened to them. What's any of our excuses? Oh, I gotta go to work, I gotta do this. Okay, what about after? It only takes a couple seconds to reach out to somebody. Especially if they reached out to you first. Especially if they reached out to you first. There should be no excuse after that. I'm sorry. I know that sounds like... I know a bunch of people are going to be like, oh, but I have a life and I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Come on. It's a cop-out. All of us have our fucking phones on us at all times. If they choose to respond, that's on them. But the cop-out is not, oh, I didn't have time. Come on. That's not fair. It's not fair to lie to yourself about that, and it's not fair to lie to the other person. If you forgot, I get that. Forgetting and not having time are two very different things, and people like to misconstrue them and kind of lump them in together, and I'm not cool with that. If you forgot, most people that forget will come back the next day, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot, and then they'll go ahead and they'll ask. People that just don't have time will flat out use forgot as an excuse and then not ask, or they won't respond at all. That's the long and short of it on that. It just is what it is. So I think it goes without saying that reaching out is as important as I'm saying it is, from somebody who both reaches out and has had others reach out to him, both in the past and, the very, very, very current present. Just this morning even. I had friends check up on me and be like, hey, how are you feeling? How are you doing today? Like, out of the blue, I didn't need to ask. They just did it. Do you want to know how many people in the last couple of days told me that they loved me? In the past couple of days, more people told me that they loved me than I want to say the last 20 years combined, easily. And that's not an exaggeration. Not at all. I felt more love and support from the last couple of days when I decided to do this and I admitted I had a problem and I needed help and I needed a way to express it. I felt more love in these last couple of days than I have in a long time. From parents, from family, from all of that, from friends. I hate that it took me expressing that I had a problem and I was in trouble for it to happen, because I've always longed for that kind of love. But better late than never, honestly, because I know it's genuine. I do know it's genuine. It feels genuine. So it's important. Don't lie to yourselves and say, well, I can't really do anything, blah, blah, blah. Like, no. That's not the point. You don't physically have to be there to heal somebody. You don't have to give them the best advice in the world to help them cope. You don't. You just need to be a talking point and you need to listen. You need to just stand with them and be like, you know what? I get it. Or maybe I don't get it, but I'm here for you regardless. Keep talking. Simply saying, you can talk to me, is not enough. Because a lot of us do not want to burden others with our problems outright from the start. It's very difficult. And just our brains just can't handle it sometimes. I promise you, like, our overthinking is a bitch. It really is. You know, I can't express to you how many times I've apologized for my overthinking getting me into trouble and hurting others, or I felt it did. So a lot of the time, no, I'm not going to be able to come to people, and anyone else, they're not going to be able to come to people outright first. But as a cognizant human being, if you read emotions properly, you know when people are in trouble. You know when people are hurting or they're having trouble. You know, there's only so much a smile can hide. It's in body language. It's in, you know, dark humor that masks certain things. You can tell. It's not very difficult to understand if you're able to just kind of release yourself into, you know, I don't wanna use a Final Fantasy term, but I'm going to. If you kind of release yourself into the live stream, because it's kind of a real thing. If you release yourself into the live stream a little bit, you're able to just vibe with people properly, and you can get, you know, you can read tones and body language, and that all makes a difference. It does. There's a certain point where I know people are going to always say, like I said before, there's nothing I can do. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? It's never about what we want you to do or what you can do. It's just about being there. Hi, Cloud. Sorry, there's the jingle. I know you guys heard it. He's coming for attention right now. Hey, buddy, I know. Dogs are just like us, too. They need attention. They need reassurance and care and love, all that kind of stuff. So, outreach, highly important. It's always going to be. It's always going to be the first. It's really, honestly, the first line of defense when fighting depression and anxiety. Having a good support system and backbone. I would say it's number one. The first real line of defense. Because it can mitigate a lot of those nasty feelings that we have. It can man, it takes the sting away, and it helps you kind of grasp what's going on, and you can think a little bit more clearly. You're not as cloudy as you think you are after, you know, just having a normal, simple talk with somebody. It just, that cloudiness opens up and there's a little bit of sunshine, and you can be like, take a deep breath, relax, think it through, and you can come to a semi-rational decision a good majority of the time. Also, it's important to not be a taker as somebody who is getting reached out to. You can't just take. You cannot. You have to give back, and you have to give thanks to the people that took time out of their day to make sure that you're okay. You have to give back. This is not a one-way street. Just because you're sad and you're depressed or you have anxiety and you're having an episode does not mean that you get to not thank those people or show them genuine love and care or just be like, no, that's your job as my friend or my family. That, no. Hell no. You got to keep yourself accountable and you got to keep yourself honest and true. And those people that reach out to you deserve the same treatment and the same respect they show you. It's important. Love and acceptance are not one-way streets. You don't just take. You got to give back. It does no one any good if there's just a one-way street where one party is taking, and not showing any gratitude or understanding back when the other person needs it. That's not balance. That's not being a team. That's not being solid with somebody else. That's just taking. And it's not honest. You can't do it. At that point, I would argue that you don't deserve the outreach because you're not playing your part. Because people care about you and they're willing to put themselves out there to listen to you, and you just don't do anything with it to give back or help or show any sort of real gratitude. And that's a damn shame. Because we ask for the help, when we do ask for the help and we get it, and we become selfish and then expect it, that's when things become a real big issue. And those people that once gave you that outreach, they don't have to give you that anymore. Those caring people will give that to you out of the kindness of their heart, probably regardless, because that's who they are. They're good people. But I wouldn't say that you deserve it at that point. Not at all. It goes both ways. It's important both ways. Because even those people that talk to you and they give you the time of day to express yourselves, they get sad too. They have shit going on in their life. They may not need it as bad as you, but they still need it. No matter how little or how much, they need it. So it just wouldn't be fair for you to just take. That's not the kind of healing culture that I want to promote, ever. It's about solidarity. And the reason I say all this is because I've been in that boat. I've been a taker where I just took and gave nothing back. I've done it. Anything that I talk about on here, I've more than likely fucking done, both good and bad. I don't think I need to cover that much because I'm about as flawed as anybody else. I've done my share of bad shit, and I'm willing to own up to it. I'm willing to say I was wrong and grow and understand, because plenty of people have told me that I have an ego, and I've done my best to really kind of mitigate that and bring that to life, to not have one anymore. And I don't want to have that anymore. I want to completely, not abolish it, but not let it affect me and my relationships as much as possible. Because I don't want to be a taker. I want I want to give more than anything. I'll always want to give more than anything. And I've slipped into those dark, parts where I've just been a taker and I didn't have time to give back to anyone else. I never want to slip back into that ever again. Especially after all of this going on with me and admitting that I had issues and just the love and the support and outreach. Like, I never want to slip back into just being a user and taking. It's why I'm doing this podcast, to give back. It is for myself, but it is also to give back and make sure that anyone who needs a friend and needs a talking point can come to me. And I hope they do, that I'm one of the first lines of defense for them. That matters. Being strong for yourself and for others matters. So, I think we're going to end this episode here. I think I've made my point, I want to say. I would hope so, at least. This was more of a serious podcast. It's the morning. I woke up and I had a couple dreams. We're gonna go over a dream podcast pretty soon too. That's a good topic. I want to bring up, and how they affect your coping and your everyday dealings with yourself and others. But I had a couple dreams last night that were less than stellar. I'll say that much. And I mean, they weren't nightmares, but they just weren't happy dreams. So, you wake up, you got a little angst, you want to talk about things, you really want to go in depth. We're going to have podcasts like this where it's just the nitty gritty. But like I always said, we're always going to end with something positive. So we're going to say the positive message to take from this today is that you, as a person, whether you are the one reaching out or getting the outreach, you are incredible. You're always going to be incredible. You're incredible for asking for the help, and you're incredible for giving the help. You're a good person. It shows. But you got to let yourself see it. You got to let yourself see it. And not just see it like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess. You got to see it like, you know what? Yeah. I am. I'm not perfect, but I'm fucking good. I'm a good person. That's how you should see it. Every time. I know it's easier said than done. I know that. But when you get to that place, you'll know for sure, it'll never be a doubt in your mind, even on the bad days, that you're a good person. You always want to strive to be the best. You always want to strive to be good. And you are. Most people are inherently good people, I would say. A good majority of us are good people. I just don't want any of you guys to doubt that you are. If you can show it and you can feel it, you're a good person. That matters at the end of the day. It does. It matters how you feel about yourself at the end of the day. If you can live with what you did during that day and go to bed and be like, I did everything I can do, I'm a good person. That is like it's like the ultimate win. It's amazing. You'll wake up feeling better than when you went to bed. The next day might be easier for you. It might not be. But at least you went into the day knowing you're a good person after the last day. That's pretty important, I would say. You gotta believe you're a good person. You gotta. It's not good enough to just do the good things, but not back it up with your own belief. The actions show. But you're not going to be a good person to yourself unless you think you're a good person to yourself, unless you know. Gotta love yourself. Gotta understand yourself. And I know pretty much everyone listening to this, the few that do, you're all good people. You're always going to be good people unless you decide to not be. And then that's on you to figure that out and maybe get back to that good place. But you're all very good people. You gotta just remember it. So, that being said, guys, thanks for listening. It's a pleasure to do these things and sit down and have people listen to my ramblings. You know, as incoherent as they can be sometimes. I sound like a babbling child that just wants to talk and talk and talk. And I know, I'm sorry. And I'm going to try to keep these as short as humanly possible for everyone's viewing pleasure. But, yeah, that was just my morning rant. I'll have another episode up pretty soon. A much more lighthearted one. We're gonna go with a lighthearted one for episode 4. Kind of jazz things up, get you guys excited, get myself excited for something again. So, you know, guys, just take care, love each other, show it, feel it, live it, love it. Thanks, guys.